Russian soldiers kill and torture civilians in Ukraine, and then, if they manage to survive, they repeat the same thing, already at home, when they return due to injury or on vacation. Shooting in the Moscow region and the rape of a schoolgirl in Samara are only a small part of the incidents involving Russian soldiers over the past month. According to human rights activists, first of all, those who are weaker, women and children, suffer from the cruelty of the Russian military.
No doubt the level of violence will increase. Without a doubt, the level of latency of such crimes will also increase, because people in the most stressful times try to hold on to at least some kind of stability, and women will endure much more than in peacetime. Anna Ravina, head of the No Violence Center, in a comment for Radio Liberty.
The crimes of Russian soldiers in Russia are part of a much larger problem. During the 14 months of the war against Ukraine, the Kremlin has normalized violence for society. The numbers speak for it. Even the official statistics of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which is known for lowering inconvenient results, show that in just 2 months of this year, the number of murders and assassinations attempts increased by 14% compared to January-February 2022. According to psychologists, this is a direct result of the work of state propaganda.
Any militaristic things, they create unprecedented tension. This is such a pressure on the psyche. When overgeneralization, cognitive distortion is turned on, the friend of four mode is turned on. A person goes into a mode when there are enemies around and he must defend himself. And in order to compensate for this feeling of inferiority, he can show the opposite actions, violence, to feel strong, meaningful, cool. Anna Moshevich, psychologist, in a comment for Radio Liberty.
Not only angry soldiers, but also weapons are returning from the front to Russia. In recent months, the Russian press has repeatedly reported on the found weapons, ammunition, and even a grenade launcher. It lays in one of the dumps of the Moscow region. There have already been similar situations in the history of Russia after the Afghan and Chechen wars. Unaccounted for weapons, soldiers forgotten by the state, and social breakdown became key components of the growth of crime in the 1990s.
What is happening in Russia now, of course, vaguely resembles the Chechen and Afghan syndrome, but only on a larger scale and much deeper. After all, firstly, these are results of the fact that a huge number of Russians go through the forge of war. Human life falls for them, dehumanization fights back on them in the maximum way, and they return not only traumatized but also implicated in cruelty precisely in the forceful way of resolving any issues. This number of people is already more than the Chechen and Afghan campaigns combined.
During the first 6 months of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, the number of crimes involving the use of firearms in the Federation increased by an average of 32%. But for the frontline regions, this figure is 10 times higher. So in the Kursk region, the growth was 625%. However, no one knows the real situation with illegal weapons in the Federation, including the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia. Reported by Roman Smoler, Danilo Kobza, UATV News.